Welcome to Life Workshop, where we discuss the forgotten basics. Hi everyone, again here we are, your most favorite people ever, Doug and Mo.
I'm more favorite this.
And the topic of this episode again is passion, is the part 2 that we are going to do.
I think I've just developed a passion.
For
Like in the last 5 seconds, that song just gets me every time.
So I'm going to recap just a few things that we said. First of all, passion is something that, makes, it's like excitement in your life. Something
like that.
Yeah, something that you want to know, that you want to do, not that you have to do. So that is a passion. But at the same time, passion can be bad or good. If it's something that is controlling your life and ruining your life, obviously, then that's a bad idea. Sometimes when you become too passionate, that becomes out of control, is an addiction or obsession or, someone in that line. And as soon as that controls your life, then you have lost control. So that can go the wrong way, even if it is something that by nature is good. Let's say exercise,
right.
Again, you do too much exercise, then you're not paying attention to some other aspect in your life. And then we said that, passion is just a feeling. You don't plan your life around feelings. Right. That's not how it works. Feeling change,
It's an emotion
quickly.
And you cannot always, I hardly ever trust an emotion to make important decisions.
That is the thing. And, the only way to keep those emotions going, if it is backed up by some valid things, because, you need something, there is something, the right thing that you need to do, then you can become passionate about that. And you can learn how to be passionate about something. And you can kill some passions if you have some wrong passions. So I'm going to put this sentence one more time. When they say find your passion, that is one of the dumbest thing. I
just found mine at the beginning of this episode.
Maybe better than that is become passionate about the things that are important.
Right.
Not that you find your passion and do whatever your passion is. We become passionate about some stuff. We are brought up simply because of the environment that we have been and the circumstances and those things.
Right.
But it doesn't mean because we are passionate about it, it's good. And if it is good on you, carry on. But if it's not, you may have to reevaluate that.
But definitely, how you've been brought up and even where you've been brought up has a massive influence on the things you become passionate about.
Correct. And some of the things, for example, generally we are good at. For example, let's say personally, I was very good with math and algebra. But with memorizing stuff, I was not that good. So it is something that, I'm a kind of have inherited.
So are you passionate about maths and algebra?
Believe it or not, when I was getting tired, I would do algebra.
That's a bit of a...
I know.
Well, we apologize for that. That's very geekish, but we're moving on.
But seriously, I did. How I became a physiotherapist, that's another story. It was something else. It was literally, anyway, we don't want to get there.
You found your passion.
I did have a challenge actually with memorizing stuff. But when it came to algebra, to math, to physics, mechanics, I just loved that stuff. I felt it. So, for example, I could become passionate about that. Even to this state, give me a...
Gives you a rush.
Yeah. I like that stuff. So some of it is because of the things that we have inherited or the circumstances or one of the... But it doesn't mean because it's a passion is right. We have to think, we have to evaluate it. Is it doing us a good or not? If it does, then awesome. If it doesn't, then you have to modify it.
So I just thought of a question. Your passion, as long as it is good for you, it's probably, to a certain extent, it's good. Do you need to base your passion on whether it's going to be good for the people around you or good for society?
This is a very decent question. And this is where I'm going. If it is good for you only and for not the other people, there is some issues.
It's probably not great.
Yeah. We're living in a society, we are not living on our own, so forget about it. If we say that independence, forget about it. We need each other. And then as a general rule, the right thing is that when you do something, it should not be just good for you. It should be good for the people. Right. It won't work. It just simply is against all the rules. If you become selfish in a way that, you benefit but others lose, good luck with that one.
It's not
See
gonna-
how far that's gonna go.
It'll just fizzle out. It'll just
Oh my
disappear.
God! Yeah, and not just that, you will be isolated. You know, you
Right.
will be surrounded. Yeah, your surrounding would become terrible.
Mhm.
No, you have to. It should be something that serves others too. You know, for sure. But then we talked about this. You know that. So if passion, which was again, we can have multiple things to be passionate about. We can decide what we want to become passionate or what we want to kill our passion about. If, for example, it's becoming toxic and it's controlling our life, so then the things that we need to do, we become passionate about. Then we learn how to. For example, one is cooking, as you know very well. Up to 2 years ago, I never
Yeah.
cooked.
Mo didn't have a. Well, he had a pot that was 7 years old and brand new. Yes.
So I never cooked because I had somebody who was, taking care of that for me.
Mhm.
And then when that stopped, then
You had to make adjustments.
I had to.
You
And
had to
then,
find another passion.
and to be honest, okay, this is how it happened. I started ordering this food from this good food and
Oh,
fresh
yeah.
food
Yeah.
and those kind of things. And then when I wanted to cook, really cooking was a drag. I should say, I just hated it. And I didn't even know the name of the ingredients. And for example, once it says that, the shallot. I said, who is this dude? Shallot.
It's-
I see onion. Who is shallot? But anyways, so, and then because I was not really enjoying it, then what I did, I started drinking and having music on. Seriously. So then a cooking that was supposed to take half hour, it became like an hour and a half.
2 hours because you had to Google what is a shallot.
And then that was one thing. That wasn't it. But the good thing was that any food tasted awesome by that time.
And so you became good at cooking.
But as I started to learn the principle of cooking, of course, I became a bit alcoholic with this at the same time. So as soon as I wanted to cook, the first thing I would think of is my drink.
There's a glass of wine.
Seriously, I honestly became that because I became so conditional
Yeah.
that, as soon as I would think about cooking, the first thing I would think, I want to get my white wine before I even touch the
Yeah,
food
but you're
or
supposed to
ingredients.
cook with the white wine,
No, it was not for
not
cooking.
drink
It was-
it. Yeah.
that was
But
not.
then, okay, let's run with this example now because you started this new idea. It's at that point definitely not a passion,
Mhm.
okay? But then you discover that you have a slight passion for white wine while you do the
Actually,
cooking, which is not
no,
fun.
it was not passion. It became a bit of an addiction, I should say. It was
Right.
not passion. Yes,
Right.
I did enjoy it, especially play some music, have some white wine,
Yeah,
and
have
then
a
you're
wine
good
and-
to go.
Yeah.
But then as the time went on, I realized, no, this is a kind of getting out of control. So I started to cut down on the drinking part of it. At the same time, I was learning how to cook a bit better.
Yeah,
So,
at
and
the-
I
at the-
surrounded myself actually with friends
Oh,
that they
yes,
were good
right.
cooks.
Yeah.
And
I
I told
remember
them,
that. And the other thing is you spoke about it to a lot of people.
Yes.
To ask them, hey, can you cook? And then you go, okay, what do you do? How do you do that? What spices do you use?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned that. And even at work, I started talking to my clients, and I never forget, for example, there was this guy, he was a good chef. And, when he was talking about food, he was almost drooling himself.
very-
And then, honestly, the way he talked with passion that he had with food, I was I'm going to just leave work. I'm going to just go home and
to
make
go
what.
cook. Yeah.
yeah. And it really became a bit of a passion. And now I'm enjoying. After 2 years, I can say I really enjoy cooking.
And it's sad to admit this out loud, but it has actually become not bad.
Yes.
It started being, at the beginning, like anything, it was bad.
Yes.
Like them burger patties were like hockey pucks.
Hey,
But-
it's for self-defense. You can use that. But exactly, so I made a lot of mistakes. There were lots of things, but because I was,
You were so passionate about it. You thought this is the best thing
I was
ever.
really pushing myself. I said that I was not passionate, but right now I have become very much interested. And believe it or not, even for supper, I'm thinking tonight I want to cook a bit differently. I can't wait till I start doing that. So, and I surrounded myself with people that they were cooks. I talked about food and people that they were interested, and it made it more and more interesting. And yes, so I normally say that passion starts the engine, but principle, discipline keeps it going. So of course, I didn't have passion. I should say that
Right.
I was switching that.
Yeah.
And then now one reason that I like cooking, one very main reason is because a lot of people compliment it. Because when I cook, it tastes good. And then a lot of people compliment it. And then you get encouraged.
Right.
So this brings me to this point, that should you follow what you like or what you're good at? And the answer is, in general, if there are two different things, you should follow something that you're good at. Because if you follow something that you're good at, you will be encouraged by others, you will be praised, and over time you get better at it and you start to like it.
Right.
But if you like something but you're not good at it,
or you lose interest, and it's
because you get discouraged,
Yeah.
you will lose interest at one point too. Of course, again, I'm going back to this. If the thing that you like to do you're not good at, you need to, then you should be persistent to do it till you become good at it. So at the end of the day, it's just a planning. Do I really want to do this? Do I need to do this or not? If it's good, then yes, push through, make it happen. If it is not, just stop it. If it comes to education, for especially younger generation, if they want to go to, of course, I will do a podcast about that, about how to do the planning. But again, you normally follow something that you're good at. Let's say if, what I just said earlier, I'm good at math and algebra. It's better if I follow that versus following something that I'm not good at, memorizing stuff.
Right.
And the reason I ended up becoming a physical therapist, as I said, it was a kind of a mistake, misled by, anyway, my parents. But anyway, so that's another story, maybe for another night. So now I'm going to switch it in here because it is a kind of related to this thing. The most important element for happiness, we have had a podcast about this, but the most important element is purpose. If you have a purpose, when you have a purpose, you just basically it's like driving.
Yeah, you have direction and you know where you want to get to.
Yeah. And then when you have that direction that you're going, then you don't pay attention as much to the present. So it can be good or bad. Then you miss the roses, but at the same time you miss the thorns too. If it is a bad time, you just miss it.
Yeah.
Now, passion does that. Passion, a kind of, if you have a purpose, multiple purpose, of course, there would be different things in life. You develop a passion for them, then the hardship part of it, you will not feel as much. For example, for exercise, the cooking part itself, because you're more passionate, then it's different. It's just, you enjoy the process.
But if we stick to this cooking example, because it started out as a bit of a chore, but it was a decision you made.
Correct.
But you kept on
Pushing.
Persisting with it because you wanted your white wine.
No, because of white wine. No, the white wine was the facilitator at the time, making the process less painful. But no, afterwards.
So it was your decision to try and become better at cooking.
That's correct. Because I needed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so it all comes down to it's a choice that you made to work towards that, and which is now developed into
a passion. It has become a passion. Yeah. So can passion? Yeah, exactly. So it was a decision. It was hard. So to make it a bit easier, I started drinking, and but then as it got easier, I noticed that the drinking part should go. So I have made that a lot less.
Yeah.
But now that has become really a passion that I really enjoy the process.
And that whole process is quite intriguing because the one thing is you want to start with something. There's a little byproduct that gets added in to keep you going, to keep you motivated, which then eventually it disappeared, but you're still going with it, like the original idea and decision, which is just increasing in terms of your passion, in terms of what you like to do, which is cooking.
And you can do that with a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Exercise is the same thing too. That you just, at the beginning might be hard, but to be honest, believe it or not, I really look forward to my exercise classes. And because of that, why is it important to do these things? It makes life better.
It makes it fun, yeah, because you're doing things that you want to go and do. It's nothing like, oh, what a drag on. I gotta get up and go.
Even
and do
about
this,
my
you know.
job, for example,
Yeah.
I love what I do. Do I love every single aspect of it? The answer is no. And believe it or not, actually, because of that, again, I said I did this podcast because for myself, I wanted to, I'm losing a bit of my passion. I'm not as passionate as I used to be. Then what I thought, there are some parts of my job that I don't like. Then I said, how can I change that set of thought so that I like those parts too? I have no option of getting rid of it. If I could, I would.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't have that option. So how can I start think differently so that if those parts that I don't like about my job, if they happen, I like that, or at least I don't dislike it.
Exactly. It's not a drag. It's just
Exactly.
something that I need
And
to do.
because of
That's
that,
all.
it makes again life better. It makes job better. So when we say can job be a passion, the answer is yes. But can a passion be a job? I would say no, most likely. So in the other order.
Yeah.
If you follow your passion to become and you make it a job, you will see there are lots of other aspects to it except what you're doing. Let's say you like photography. You do photography, but photography, you cannot make a living unless if you make it a business. But if you make it a business, then a lot of other aspects of the business except the function of the
Correct.
photography
Then
is there.
It's a job. It's not more a
Yeah.
passion. 'Cause
And then
there's-
if you don't like the other part, it will kill your
you
passion.
lose that. Yep.
But which this happens most of the time. Most people actually, if I don't say all, I'm just refraining from that word, but almost all people, if they don't like their job, it's not because of the job itself as much as it's because of the environment around it, dealing with others.
Right.
That dealing with people is the most challenging, and people would be or their colleagues or their boss or the customer, doesn't
Or
matter.
Look at a sports person, a tennis player, for example, or a football player, anybody. I'm sure they absolutely love playing the game. Okay, but then there's times when, for example, if they've lost, they got to stand in front of a camera and do an interview when they're miserable because they just lost.
Not just because of that, even if they win, because of
Sometimes,
other
yeah.
things. For example,
Yeah,
they have to
sometimes they
deal
don't
with
want to. Yeah,
they have
yeah.
to deal with their people that they're
Media
controlling.
and PR and advert, like marketing guys and all of that. Yeah,
And because of that, a lots of time people they become, they don't like things. And now, if you can switch that set of thought, that how can I make the parts that are the least interesting or
the least enjoyable.
or they
more
make your life
bearable.
miserable,
Yeah.
how can you make that better?
Make that bearable. Yeah.
I normally say go for a chain is as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah.
If there is a chain and it has 10 links and 9 of them is amazing, just one is not that good, that one is going to ruin your life.
It'll break it. Yeah.
So what you can do, if you can work on that, what are the parts that they make my life or my job terrible?
Yeah.
How can I make that better instead of working on the things that are already good to make them better?
Right.
Work on the things that is terrible to become less bad.
But even that's difficult because it's not fun to do that. It's not fun to go.
It's
and
like
work
my
on
cooking thing.
Exactly.
Maybe you need a glass of
You
wine.
need some wine.
The medicine for all
Exactly.
diseases.
It's something to get to something bigger. Yeah.
And remember, it should be white wine.
White wine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's very important.
Gotcha.
So,
It is. I mean, you just gotta. Sometimes, it's the easiest thing to just keep on doing the things that you're better at.
and you become better at it, exactly.
Right.
And when
but
you become
but that one link still stays really bad. That's the thing.
yes, unless if you make that link better, then the whole chain is
Correct.
stronger. Then you start really liking your job.
Right.
So I'm going back to this. You cannot make it's less likely to succeed to making a passion a job, but it's more likely to succeed in making a job a passion.
Yeah.
So just think of it in that fashion. And a lot of it, again, has to do with a set of thought.
Mindset.
Yeah. And the mindset, this is the thing. The things that are going good and you're working just fine, you don't have to work on them to make it better necessarily. Work on the things that are dragging you down. Make sure they don't drag you down. You're already, way ahead. Again, don't make a mess. You don't have to clean it up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking more about prevention versus, treatment. So that is one of the things. And I wanted just to add one more sentence in here. Sometimes people that they don't need anything, let's say people that are richer or whatever, that they don't really need anything specific, and their life becomes really boring.
How boring.
That is exactly it.
Boring.
Yeah. And actually sometimes when people retire,
Yes.
if they don't have anything going on, then life becomes really boring.
Yeah.
And then sometimes what they do, they go create a passion that is really doesn't serve a purpose.
Right.
And sometimes actually ruins things. For example, I have a passion for cars. What do you mean? Buying cars and different colors of cars?
Looking at them. I don't know.
Yeah, because that is going to ruin you, actually. It's going to take your money, and really you're not creating anything. You're not doing anything. The part that when we say passion, it should be something that I'm doing something.
Right.
Versus, oh, I bought my passion. I bought another purse. I bought another pair of shoes. This is for the ladies, primarily, I suppose. I'm not discriminating against guys. But, or I bought another car. That is called addiction, to best of my knowledge.
Yeah. And it's temporary and it's fake because you're going to have that pair of shoes.
It is
that
not
car,
satisfactory.
and then it's empty. That's
Correct.
it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you have those kind of addictions, identify them, and maybe again work on the things that they boost you up. That.
Well, what works for me sometimes is I think we said this in the previous episode, but to review or reflect with your internally, but then also get opinions, but from people that you trust,
feedback,
people that you want, I suppose like a mentor, somebody that can give you feedback. And obviously, you don't want to go to any Joe Blow on the street because he can tell you whatever you want, but somebody that someone that's clever, that's got the experience that you can trust.
Oh, are you talking about me?
No, I'm not.
No, and actually that is very important to talk to somebody who has already succeeded.
Correct.
That not that somebody who has failed. If, for example, somebody comes and try to tell you how to lose weight, but himself is struggling with the weight, it doesn't
person.
work. Yeah, it doesn't work. If somebody who is not happy wants to tell you how to be happy, well, I don't think that's going to work.
It's that dentist theory.
Yeah.
Or
if I come and talk to you about how to have a serious relationship, do not listen to me.
You're not winning in that. No.
So
but again, the physio thing. You're not a
bad physio.
Bad physio, but if I would walk into a physio clinic and I see unhealthy people, just because it's a physical activity type of related industry, I would think twice.
No, that is true.
You got to practice what you preach, and if you're a physio and you're unhealthy, I doubt myself
that it didn't work probably for you.
No,
Why should it work for
exactly.
me? But anyway, so at the end of the day, again, work on the parts that are dragging you down, make them better, and then afterwards, and a lot of it's decide what you want to become passionate about, and then if they are serving you a purpose, and then review on your own, but at the same time, ask for feedback from other people to help you with this review process.
Correct. Constructive, accurate feedback. Yeah.
And plan your life. That is what I keep going back. Plan your life. Don't go with the flow. Not quite that way. Now, I'm going to end up with this question for everybody. What are the things that you need to change your set of thought? And don't say that you cannot say, I don't care. You cannot say, I don't care about my job. I don't care about cooking. I don't care about exercise. I don't care about, dealing with people. If that life, I'm not sure how good of a life is going to be.
That's not planning.
Yeah.
That's just winging it. Yeah.
Yes. And then how can you change that? To say, no, I do care about my job. This parts I like. And if there are some challenges, how can I go solve those challenges? And then, and just see how can you get yourself passionate about this stuff. And remember, at the beginning, you need a little bit of a persistence. And then as you succeed, it starts to become a passion.
Right.
And then you will start enjoying it more than ever.
The more you do it, the better you become at it, the more you'll like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's for sure. Again, thanks for listening. We will do one more podcast about this to get everything that I want to get out. Okay, thanks. Bye now.